Welcome to the shooting show. This week we bring you some of the very best shots from over the past 2 years. Plus we bring you all the latest news from the shooting world. It's been a long time since we've picked our favourite top 10 videos, almost 2 years, so that's 100 plus episodes. You may not agree with the choices, but the director's decision is final. So let's crack on. We start our top 10 countdown at the Ritalin Hall shoot, where Jeff Garrett, gun for the day, had some aim cam glasses so we could get the Jeff's eye view.
Just had a draw. I've just drawn number 5 peg, and the first drive is pond lay. So we've just been on the peg. The first bird's come out, come straight over the head. So I've killed that nicely. So good start for me. Here, come on, here. Here, George. Here, good boy, go here, good boy, good boy, good boy, good boy.
And in at number 9, you can't beat a bit of backyard bunny bashing with resident cameraman Stuart Wilson as he sits over a field and fills his boots with bunnies.
First one's down, which kind of led me nicely into doing a quick sort of introduction and piece to camera. So time to sort of sit it out, as you may hear on the roof. It's just starting to rain, so pretty good timing to be fair.
In at number 8, it's Mark Ripley, who loves a bit of tech. And this time he's taking out the Pulsar Ptarmigan, and a zeroing session turns into an all-night foxing mission.
It actually looks quite a lot like a standard day scope. I think that looks really nice on the rifle, far better than the old trails and that, which are a bit more boxy. This is a much nicer looking scope. I can actually see where that bullet has impacted the heat from that on the cardboard box. I can actually see that through the scope. It's pretty impressive. Alright, I think we're going for the baby rabbit distress for this one. It's usually a good one.
And in at number 7, it's Chris Dalton, chasing some reds back on his home patch. But the star of the show is his new hound, Sosha.
Stay. Good girl. Good girl.
Okay, that's what I needed to do after shooting. I needed to sit down and just wait calmly. I don't want her ferreting about me. She's young, she's keen, she's really wanting to go and recover that. This is where the steadiness starts, and this is one of the things I can't do with clients, so it's important to try and get her out more and more now when I'm on my own and get that steadiness instilled in her. Browning, again, 6.5, standard weapon I use these days. It's absolutely perfect for hill work. Lovely accurate rifle. I mean, that shot was probably 95, 100 yards off the sticks and straight through the neck. Deer never felt a thing, so got to have confidence in your kit.
And we also get a master grellicking class from Chris himself.
So what we're going to do is try and get him nicely laid on his back, so we've got a good area to work. Unzip him. So be careful when you're manoeuvring big stags around. There's a bit of weight, although we have them a lot bigger on here than these. Boy, 2 fingers there. You need this with a sharp knife. Keep your fingers out of the way, and basically blade goes in. Two fingers are just guiding it. Now I can really get my hand in there, lift the flesh away from the stomach, and very slowly, nicely just nick up. Just watching I don't nick anything with that. We're looking for swollen, enlarged, pussy, gritty to touch. I mean, they're actually perfect. Here's the liver. We're going to look for any evidence of any liver fluke, which clearly there's no nice liver. And there we have the portal lymph node. Not swollen, not enlarged. Again, rope on. I'll probably get hold of the antlers actually on this, and we're going down that away back to the track. We'll get back down to the track, into the ATV, back into the larder, and we'll do the rest of it in there.
In at number 6, we filmed a duck shoot just a few weeks ago with a bit of a difference. Plus it gave our resident gun a chance to try out the Ely VIP steels with the biodegradable wads, proving once again that shooters are also conservationists.
These might come back, you know. See this one coming?
That was fantastic. Very, very, very exciting. Hit a few, missed a few, as they say.
Into the top 5 now, and things are getting a little bit more serious. We're out with Jeff Garrett, where he's most at home in the pigeon shooting field, but we're not in a hide, we're out on the annual Roost shoot.
On the HV, 32 grams. Although there's a good wind out there, it's not as strong as I thought it was going to be. It seems to be easing a little bit, so I expect them to be. Look at these like here.
I don't swear.
Sorry.
Yeah, he's coming straight.
Leave it, leave it. Let him come down a bit.
In at number 4, it's grouse shooting. We couldn't have a top 10 without Britain's premier shooting species now, could we? So it's driven grouse shooting at Farndale Moor. And grouse shooting's been somewhat curtailed in recent years due to lack of numbers, but thanks to Bernard Moss and his team at Farndale, we bring you an excellent day's shooting. Well, that's it for another year at Farndale. Not so many grouse seen today, but I think that's down to the conditions more than anything else. First day on the moor, they shot 70-80 brace. I guess we're going to be sitting on about, I don't know, 35, 38 brace, somewhere like that. But it's been fantastic. Next up, and in third place, it's me, out stalking either side of the opening of the roebuck season, April the 1st. We bring you some cracking sport on home turf. Yeah, roe stalking for me is an escape. It's a real privilege to be able to manage the deer on an estate. Modern working lives sometimes makes it difficult, but when I get the time, I certainly put the time in. You know, winter time at the does, it's always kind of a hard thing to get the doe cull, to get the numbers. I've always found that, but we usually manage to do it, or certainly get close to it. We're just getting into a position where we could have looked up the ride, and then a doe came out, so it was like a Mexican standoff. So we had this doe coming up, looking and coming up and looking, and yeah, she just bolted away, and so it was barking like a farmyard collie dog. We just took the chance and stalked through. There's a small track. It's difficult. There's a lot of fallen wood, cut trees and windfall, and so you've got to be very careful. One twig and bam, and they're gone. And he just stood, and we're just lucky really. He dropped on him, and I just put the binoculars up on the sticks, and he saw the movement and then looked and brought the rifle up. He looked again, but I was nice, good solid shooting position. And we're nearly at the top, but in second place, it's Jeff Garrett with some classic pigeon decoying. And it's a red letter day for Jeff as he tops the 200 mark, showing how pest control can be done professionally.
Good start, first 3 shots, first 3 kills. Oh, look at that one. That was out the top drawer, that one. Well, that's the end to a truly memorable day today. Got the new Brown and Maxus, Camo Maxus, and it's just performed like the old one, really nice, got on really well with it. Pigeons were a little bit slow to start with, and you know, up until about 12 o'clock we were sort of, I was beginning to wonder whether I was in the right place, whether things had changed dramatically. But come just before 12 o'clock, someone switched the switch on and they just started coming in, and from 12 till 2:30 it was just non-stop. And we've amassed a wonderful bag here, using the Ely cartridges over the enforcer decoys. I don't really know what else to say, just that on this wind, which was a very, very cold easterly wind, I've just had some fantastic shooting here today.
Well, it's the big one. In at number 1, it's Ptarmigan shooting at Glen Etive with good old friends Bob Martini and Ruth and James Folkard. We didn't forget the fact that Bob shot all the birds on the day, but nevertheless, it was a great day out on the high tops at Glen Etive. So just got to the top, just out of the wind. We had our lunch, then we just come up here to the cairn, got changed into some dry clothes, because you soon get cold when the wind's on you. And then we're just going to go up this little bit of a ridge, and then we'll line out and we'll start shooting ptarmigan. If it goes left, it's Bob's. If it goes right, it's James's. It's going to go now.
Keep gently going.
Well, that's our very best top 10, but do let us know your top 10 in the comments section. And now, it's the Shooting Show News.
This is the Shooting Show News. Practical shooting is growing in the UK. This fast-firing shotgun sport tests your accuracy, speed and athleticism, and at the Target Shooting Show at the weekend we caught up with a family that's into the sport in a big way, as well as checking out the newest shotgun cartridge designed for practical shooters.
I've been shooting for a good many years, lots of competitive shooting. I find it extremely addictive, and that's the problem with shooting these days. When you're doing competition shooting, it gets very, very addictive. James came along when he was first about 10 years old, clay pigeon shooting, and has gone on from there. And Faye started shooting with me, doing practical rifle when you were, what, 14? About 14 years of age. And we were doing, even back then we were doing quite well, weren't we, with practical rifle on military ranges. And it's sort of grown and grown and grown from them. We are all very competitive. James probably a bit too competitive sometimes. And our current forte is practical shotgun.
It's a very adrenaline-filled, fast-paced sport. So, I mean, we regularly come off, your hands are shaking, the adrenaline's kicked in. It's a sort of really exciting thing to be involved with.
What I love about it is it's a really family-orientated sport. So our club particularly, we're just like one big family, aren't we?
Yeah.
We've just spent the last 6 to 8 months working on a brand new load for practical shotgun shooters, so that they've got a load that works really well for their discipline. It runs a 28 gram or 432 grain weight of shot. It runs the PSP powder inside, which you know from previous discussions with me, it's a really smooth, consistent powder. That means we can run it up at the 1280 feet per second, 1250 feet per second, and still keep it within the power factor of 540. Power factor is really important in the sport because people want a consistent power factor for everything they shoot at to make sure that the product is consistent and match regulation. The other thing with the product is it's got a nice 16mm brass, solid thick wall case, and it runs really well through pump, semi-auto, mag-fed and inertia guns and semi-automatic guns that the people really favour in this discipline. We started sponsoring the Williamson team about a year and a half ago. We started working with them. They came to us and said, look, we really need a product that we know we can keep working with right across our discipline, that we can be sure works really well. And while clay loads do work, we want something a bit more consistent, and we want something that will work very well with our guns. So we said, look, happy to open up that discussion and start working. And by listening to shooters and working with them, we can actually develop products that they need, and that's why we're in business for.
The show itself, taking place at Stoneleigh for the first time, attracted no shortage of gun and ammunition brands, as well as punters looking to learn more about a range of disciplines. It's set to return next November. Elsewhere, BASC is battling against the University of Reading, which took the decision to ban game shooting on its land. This came as a result of an anti-shooting campaign. BASC said it had submitted a comprehensive body of evidence on the benefits of shooting and was astonished by the decision. The Countryside Alliance also weighed in, saying the university had turned its back on rural communities. Changes to the CPSA classification system will come into effect on the 1st of December. There will now be 4 classification dates a year instead of 2, and it takes more targets to get a classification. You need to shoot 300 targets to get a class, and to go down a class you need a minimum of 600 targets. It's only possible to go down a class once every 2 years. The CPSA is also instigating a class review system with a moderating panel. And finally, with voting open for the Great British Shooting Awards 2020, we take a look at one of the categories you can have your say in. This week it's the Night Vision or Thermal Product of the Year. And the nominees are ATN X-Sight 4K Pro, ATN Mars Thermal, Pulsar Accolade, Pulsar Thermion XM50, Pulsar Thermion XP50. You can have your say in who wins. Head to greatbritishshootingawards.com to vote. That was the Shooting Show News.
Well, that's it for this week. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter, and ring that bell for more videos. And if you're not a member of BASC, it's time to join now. BASC, looking after your sport, looking after you. This has been The Shooting Show.